Today I have a special treat for everyone listening to this recording and practicing meditation. And throughout the week we have been exploring the power of sound as one of the five senses, hearing, and how we can anchor into the sounds around us. And there's a really beautiful presencing that occurs when we allow ourselves to drop into the sounds and to really feel the sound in our body. Oftentimes we'll conceptualize a sound, and by that I mean we build a story around the sound. So if we hear a car coming down the road, we might wonder what kind of car it is, or who's in the car, or is it your friend coming to visit you, versus just the pure sound of the car and all of the ways in which a car emits sound. And likewise, a bird. We'll build a story around a bird. Perhaps we're wondering what kind of a bird it is, where it's perched in a tree, or is it on a fence line, and why is it there, and its song, it keeps on going, and why would it be chirping so much, rather than simply experiencing the pureness of that sound as it is. So, continuing off of that today, I'm going to invite in some sounds from nature on my hike this morning that you'll allow your senses to anchor into. And it's a really simple meditation, and it'll be a little bit shorter today, not focusing so much on a 20-minute length, but rather about a 10-minute length. And what I'm going to ask is that when you close down your eyes, and I'll prep you for this, but when you close down your eyes and you come to that comfortable seat, you begin to drop into the sounds. And what ends up occurring as we continue to drop into the sounds, to let our awareness rest in those noises and in those fluctuations in a symphony, we realize that we, in some sense, become the sound itself, that we feel it throughout the body. And so the exploration continuing on this week is to really feel sound in the body. And the example that I like to give is if some object drops to the floor and it's really large, we don't just hear the loud bang, our whole body takes it in. We might jump or contract or spook. So thinking about how sound is translated through the wilderness, through the terrain of the body. So coming to a nice tall seat and allowing the eyes to close and inviting a few deep inhales through the nose and exhales out the mouth. And letting yourself anchor already into the sound of the breath. So you're hearing that rolling of the inhale and the rolling of the exhale. It might even remind you of the sound of the ocean or the way the wind moves through the trees. And continuing to refine your listening capacity to hear the breath, to hear all the nuances of the breath. And just allowing yourself to anchor into the breath right now, letting that root you, letting the sound of the breath root you. And you might even hear that silent mantra, so hum, gently reverberating through the inhale and exhale. Now inviting in a little bit more of a gentle alertness. It's very, very soft. You're noticing the sound of the breath and just beginning to become aware of the other sounds that might be surrounding you. If you're inside, it might be the hum of a lamp, the light bulb itself, or maybe the floors creaking. And if you're outside, maybe it's the breeze, or there are birds, or cars driving by. And simply noticing those sounds. And rather than letting your awareness drift so far away from you, notice how you feel the sounds in the body. Let that feeling of sound reroute you. You might experience a tingling or a humming, maybe a pulsing or contracting or expansive feeling. So really noticing, and by noticing, feeling. And if it's hard to detect a certain sensation from sound, notice what it's like to not feel something in the presence of sound as you're taking it in.